So I talk about trust going in 4 basic directions. If you could picture a compass, and east and west, which would be horizontal, is our trusting of ourselves and others, human level. Then if you think of trust going in the northerly direction, that's trusting in a higher power, or God, or something transcendent of what is human. And then going south is trusting reality itself. This is what I call the core trust. Trusting that what happens to us is always presenting us an opportunity to evolve into being people of more love and wisdom. So that is what the book is about. So there's chapters on each of those 4 directions that trust can take. And I'd like to choose the one that goes in the southerly direction, which would be the core trust in reality. And this is the most challenging of all the directions our trust can take. Core trust is trust in our life as it is, as a trustworthy path for evolving in love, wisdom, and healing power. This is radical, nitty-gritty trust in bare-bones reality. Here our reliance is on the reliability of life itself as just right for us. This is because we trust it to give us opportunities for enlightened action. So from the Buddhist perspective, we could say that everything that happens in life gives us an opportunity for our practice. What is our practice? First, mindfulness, which is focusing and being present in the here and now, rather than being caught and distracted by the usual detours away from the here and now, such as an attachment to how things will turn out, a fear of facing life as it is, a desire to have things come out our way, a tendency to try and gain control of what's going on, a tendency to judge and evaluate what happens rather than listen to it. So that's the first opportunity, is mindfulness. And the other opportunity is loving kindness. That we get a chance to respond to what is happening and to the people around us with an attitude of love, compassion, joy, and equanimity. Equanimity is the ability to accept whatever happens with an equal spirit. So what I'm proposing is that in this core trust in reality, we could believe not so much in the superstitious style that everything happens so that we can learn something. I'm changing that to everything happens and we can learn from it. When you put it that way, it's not as tied to a kind of magical view, and it's more reality oriented. One important feature of this is synchronicity. Trusting that there are meaningful coincidences that occur in the course of life. A meaningful coincidence is one in which things come together in an unusual way, not planned by us, but somehow things work out so that we find our path on life's journey. What is this journey? It's to go from a focus on a self-centered ego to a focus on a style of loving that's unconditional and universal in its extent. In fact, I'm thinking of this quotation from the Diary of John Woolman. He was a English 18th century Quaker who was roaming the countryside trying to convince people to abolish slavery. And this is his quote, which I think summarizes the purpose of life. The whole purpose of our life is to put everything we do into the channel of universal love. So you take everything that happens and you try to find a way to bring that to the rest of the world in a loving way. This is trusting that we live in the kind of universe that gives us those opportunities, that they keep coming along. Where do they come from? They come from the full compass. So they come from all the experiences that we have with other people, in relationships or in acquaintanceships. Sometimes people have been trustworthy, sometimes they've betrayed us. This has led us, having noticed that given of life, that people aren't always trustworthy, this has led us to change our style in relationship. So instead of it being about how can I trust you to be trustworthy toward me, instead of that style, it's how can I trust myself to receive your trustworthiness with appreciation and to handle your betrayals without having to retaliate. So there I found a way to be in relationship with others and to accept the fact that sometimes there will be betrayals and at other times, wonderfully, there'll be trustworthiness. And my focus is on receiving both of those because that's what it means to be human. And that's how I'm going to grow. That's how I'm going to move along on the journey. It will happen through a combination of trustworthiness and betrayal. But I'm not turning against people because of that and becoming retaliatory toward them. I'm simply noticing it, handling it with equanimity, saying ouch, working on the relationship so that trust can happen, and never with the idea of revenge. Reminds me of a quote from Shakespeare in The Tempest, that the rarer action is in virtue than in vengeance. So that we're choosing the path of the rarer action, and this is because we have put everything we do into the channel of universal love.